All right, let's get into this little matchup up here. So we're gonna be watching Lagging Dog. This is gonna be a new noob series for Lagging Dog. They're playing with Ghost of 6am. Ghost of 6am, very solid player, and that is their teammate this game. And I believe they're playing against controller players. It doesn't really matter because I'm mostly gonna be watching what Lagging Dog does and what Lagging Dog can do better. So they built their two houses very well. Good job. A little bit of idle time on those villagers, so you want to make sure you're kind of, making sure they're working. The scout, brought the scout to the back here. So what you really want to do is just have the scout kind of circle your base on the areas that you can't see. You are trying to scout with the sheep, which is a good move. The only thing I worry about that, especially kind of at your level. So Lagging Dog is at like 1200 on the controller ladder, which puts them like top 400 or so. So, decent, solid, knows what they're doing, but that's usually the level where you're going to make a lot of like timing mistakes. You're going to make a lot of like small errors, just like not building villagers when you should, not scouting when you should. It's a lot to do. So scouting with the sheep is good, but sometimes that can distract you from doing other things. Like for instance, you weren't scouting with the scout. So sometimes like simplify it. Just, okay, I'm going to scout with the scout. Sheep are going to go back to the base, and that's it. Build order is looking pretty good. Idle TC, so the TC is not building any villagers or just started to. So it's 27 seconds. So already down one vill in the first 3 minutes of the game, right? So that's number one. Always build, always build villagers. Just queue them up, always build. Sometimes maybe even instead of going 6 and then going to wood, go 7 on food and then go to wood and just have them have a little bit more like food income, so you don't have to like forcibly drop off. Sometimes that's the problem with 6. You have to forcibly drop off, and it's fine, but it's just one more thing to pay attention to, right? So scouting around the base with the scout, doing a good job. I think you found this boar, you found this boar, and you found the chicken. So that's like the most important stuff. And you found your gold, and you found your berries. So like you found everything you need to find. Okay, the only thing left is a couple of sheep, which you just found those, and I think that's all of the sheep. So that's all the scouting you got to do. Now you have 6 on food, 3 on wood, and now we're sending a 4th on wood. That is a mistake. So I think what you did is you set your rally point over to the wood, and you just kind of forgot to change it. So it looks like this is where like multitasking can be tricky, right? So now you're building these in. So I'm not sure if this is like a planned thing or not, because you are building the house and you're building this in. But that's a lot on wood, though. Like, I don't think there's any build order in the world that you're going to put 7 on wood in the beginning of the game before putting them back on food. Like, the goal of Feudal Age is just to build your villagers and get to... I mean, Dark Age, to build your villagers and get to Feudal Age. That's what the goal is, right? So, you need food to do that. You have this villager going over to the berries. That's good. You're going to want to build a mill as soon as you can. And you have 100 wood right now, so you should be able to build a mill. And the next... Okay, so what you did is you had 7 vills go down to wood, which looks like you planned on doing. It's interesting. You're playing a 2v2, so you can play a little differently. But now you have your next villagers going to berries. I like that. I would do that sooner. Send 3, maybe 4 at the most, and then send the rest to food. Okay, good job. Killed the boar. This villager's a little idle, but now also, so like you collect the berries you have a bonus on, right? But you still always will collect the boar meat faster than the berries, right? So you really want to have these villagers going out and getting the boar meat as opposed to the berry meat. That goes same thing for sheep. I think I'm not 100% sure, but I think sheep are always going to gather faster than the berries. Maybe for Franks it's different. I'm not sure. But boars will always. You want to have more. Like you can have up to like 10 or 11 even on a boar. So you want to have more on the boars early. It's just better. Okay, walling in your berries. This is called a small wall, which is fine. It's a good way to kind of make sure that your base is safe on your way up, and so you don't get attacked early. And let's see what your scout's doing. Scout's doing a good job. You're scouting the whole back of your base. You can kind of see here you have a nice wall on your wood line. So it won't be easy to attack. So that's really good. It's one less thing to worry about. You're playing as the Franks. So Franks are a really good civ. Franks are a really good civ, especially for... Everyone always recommends them for beginners. And I think the big reason is because of their early economy bonuses. So you're going to get horse collar for free. You're going to get the second mill upgrade for free. So your farms are just going to give you more. The farm upgrades actually save you wood, right? Because it's just less wood to build them. So that's really good. And then also, you're going to have plus 20% HP on your scouts and your knights and all that. So it's basically like horse collar for free. I mean, not horse collar. Mental lapse. What is wrong with my brain right now? It's bloodlines for free. That's what I was trying to think of. Okay, this mill I hate. I think I know why you built it there, but you might as well just build it right on the chickens. Most civs you want to build this first before the berries. I think with the Franks, because of the bonus, you can probably go ahead and build it and build the berry ones first. All right, but now everyone's getting up to the next age here. You're at 21 vills. And you're not up yet. And you just clicked up. So that's it's a lot of vills. 21 is probably the most you'd ever want to make. But the idle TC is really, really bad. You're almost 4 minutes of idle TC. So I think you were trying to get you were trying to get the food, which is another reason why you don't want to have that many on wood. So just do this next time. Just put, I would say 7 on food initially, and then the next 3 on wood, and then build your mills, right? Build a mill on the berries, and then build a mill on chickens if you have chickens. And then mill should just always be like right, like on the chickens, like right over here. Like I think you might have built this because you wanted to be closer to your town center, but it's just like this walking time makes a difference. All right, this is the enemy scout came here. If you see that scout near your town center, you want to garrison. You want to garrison. You want to garrison. You want to garrison. So you're not garrison. So you could have taken off, at least half that scout's HP, if not killed them right there. So that would have been nice. That would have been nice. Now you're probably talking to Ghost of 6M. Ghost of 6M, very solid player. They're like top 100 player, top 50 player, something like that. So you're probably kind of strategizing with him, I would imagine. You like these small walls. I like the 2 villagers. I think, yeah, they're pretty efficient in there. They're not really bumping into each other. The small walls, like, you could scout a little bit more and you could kind of build bigger walls here. But you just got to feudal age, and let's see. So you're building a really, really tight base, which is interesting. A lot of houses. So why would we be building that many houses? So you're going to go try and fast castle. You're idling your TC, so you're not building any villagers here. So this is not an ideal build by any means, right? I'm guessing you're going to fast castle and try to make knights. You can scout your opponent here. You see that they're walling. So, really it's just, you don't want to idle your TC, like, ever, right? Look up a fast castle build. There's much better fast castle builds than what you're doing here. If you're just winging it and you just want to have fun, that's cool. But if you want to have a little bit more efficiency, you'll have a lot more fun if you follow more of a build order, I guess. Which I'm not a big fan of following build orders, but there are a couple like basic ones that I think you just need to know. Like a fast castle build order, you need to know. A fast feudal, essentially, like 18 to 21 vills feudal age, you need to know. But you really never, like, if you're even in fast castle, you never want to put more than 4 on wood right away. And then let's see what your resources look like. So you're not floating too much of anything, so that's good. And you are on your way up, so that's good. The only issue is this 6 minutes of idle TC. You can do this with more villagers with 0 idle TC, right? Oh, what did I do? I went back in time. Oh, I have the timeline on. I put that on because I restarted this. And I have a stable going up. I like that. You have a lot of food in the bank. You only have 2 on gold. If you're going to go knights, you're going to want to have more on gold. And you are scouting. You're doing a good job scouting, so you kind of see what your opponents are doing. You know, at this point, honestly, it doesn't really matter, like, who your opponents are. But it is, like, something you want to know. Like, you just want to have your game more efficient, right? Like, you don't necessarily need to play against the enemy. You just want to have your game as efficient as you can at this stage, right? So, a lot of inefficiencies here can get cleaned up. Looks like you deleted this house, which is, you know, like, if you think about, like, how you're building stuff early, you don't have to do stuff like that, like delete a house. Right, like, you could just, like, all of these buildings here could have gone here, and they could have gone here. Right, so you can think about your base, but I do like that you're trying to wall, though, because walling is something that I find really frustrating on controller. And so the stable is up, and you're the first one into Castle Age, right? So when you're the first one in Castle Age, what you really, like, so important want to do is use the advantages you have, right? So you're building knights, which is good. You have knights in queue. It'd be much better if you had a second or even a third stable, so you can make these knights a lot faster, because it's all about timing, right? If you have one stable, you know, it's a math problem, right? If you have one stable, you're making 1 knight. If you have 2 stables, you're making 2 knights. If you have 3 stables, you're making 3 knights, right? So you have 3 times the production. Generally, you can't keep 3 stable knights, you know, producing forever, but you can get them out very quickly. So you can go out with, like, you know, 8, 9 scouts. The Darths are really good at this. Darth Lama, Darth Vindaloo, Darth Masala, they're really good at just, like, 3 stable knights, boom, right? And then it just gives you such an advantage over your opponent because you're in castle first. So your timing is great to get to castle, you know, minus the idle TC, things like that, which, you know, you can clean up. But I would say prioritize, like, keep even the same exact builds you have. Prioritize getting at least a second stable. Like, just start with a second stable and go from there. You are getting all the blacksmith upgrades, so I like that. Knights are in. You scouted his base already, so you kind of know what he's going to do. I'm going to take the Fog of War off right now. Let's see what's going on. He's reacting pretty quickly. That's good. I think they're controller players you're playing against. I'm not sure. Now, he's just got a scout army here. So, I mean, a handful of knights can kill a lot of scouts. So you're getting really good vill kills. That's really good. Now, once you see these scouts, you have to decide, am I taking this fight or am I not taking this fight, right? I would say with only 3 knights here, you don't want to take this fight. You know, once you have 5 knights or so, take that fight all day long. Like, you'll probably kill most, if not all of these, but it's still, you know, you're going to lose. I guess you only lost 1. Now, here's the thing about the civs, right? Saracens beat Franks 90% of the time. Not actually, but they should beat them 90%. This guy's a hole here. That's terrible. Because they have really good camels. They have one of the best camels in the whole game. Now, you're idling your TC, so that means you're probably paying attention to your knights over here. Yeah, so now he's making these camels, and these camels just, they hard counter your knights. And the Saracens are really good at it. So this guy is only on 1 TC. He's only in... he's in Castle Age. I take it back. He's in Castle Age. So you want to get as much damage as you can, but you're going to lose these fights to these camels. So you have 2 knights versus 2 camels. That you're going to lose that by a mile every time. So now you have to, like, what do you do at this point? And you're getting husbandry. That's fine. You can run away from the camels faster. And now you're building a second barracks. So you already have one barracks, right? So what's the point of the second barracks is the question. Like, what do you... So you know he's going camels. So, like, what do you do as a Frank player against camels? It looks like you're getting infantry upgrades. Just peeking Ghost of 6 a.m. He's attacking the other opponent. And it looks like you're going to go up and attack the north opponent. So that's really smart, right? You don't want... Why attack a guy who's going to hard counter you? But, like, just take a look at this idle TC time. So, like, you're not even focused on your economy at all. Like, you've basically given up on making villagers. And you can't do that. Am I looking at the right thing here? Is this 21 villagers? Do you have 21? Did you not make any more villagers? I'm trying to double click here. Okay. Pause. So when you got to Castle Age, you just stopped making villagers. You can't do that, bro. You just can't do that. That's insane. You can do that if you're Bohemians, if you're Koreans, maybe. Like, there's certain civs where if you're building a unit and you're fast castling and you're building castle units and you're just getting wood and gold and you're just 100% all in, you're going to overwhelm your opponent and you're just not even going to think about your economy. That's like the faster strategies. You can do that. If you're making knights, you can't do that. If you're making crossbows, you can't do that. You need to continually make villagers. So that's just something you have to focus on. Let me see like what your economy is here. So you have only 5 on food, is that right? I think you have all these villas here. So you have 7 on food. These 2 farms are just like reseeding or building here. So okay. So what you want to do is you need to have 6 farms minimum for 1 town center, okay? For your villagers. Once you're making these knights, right? Once you're making knights, where are the knights here? These are the upgrades. Once you're making knights, you need to have like 6 more farms, okay? I don't know if these are the right numbers. I'm just kind of throwing this out there. So that's 12 farms to make knights and villagers on 1 town center, all right? Then you can have more town centers. You can have more stables, things like that. But you need to keep making villagers. So what you want to do is just look up a fast castle build order, study it, and just do that. That's the way to do it. And you practice it a couple of times, then you're good. Let's unpause. But you'll just basically always be like limited to what you can possibly do. If you're just not building villagers. And now yellow is helping their opponent, their teammate. You deleted your mill. I mean, you don't need it there, so I don't hate it. But yeah, the base loadout, the base layout is very cramped. You know, it's tough. Like, you can't build your farms around your mill over here. So you're kind of limited to what you can do. But you are building villagers again. So I think what you did is you kind of focused on your attack with your knights and then decided, okay, I'm going to build villagers now. Especially when the knights didn't work. But the knights actually worked. Like, you did good work with the knights. Like, you killed some villagers with it. You killed 11 villagers, actually. So, like, you did good. You haven't lost any villagers. But even with that, you're at 25 vills. The guy you killed 11 villagers of is at 34. Only because he's not idling his TC as much. He's still idling his TC. Like, he's not playing particularly incredible. I'd say that castle's not going up over there. Alright, so now you're going pikes. I mean, pikes will be very good against the the camels. And it's really tricky to control like 2 units when you're kind of, you know, still getting used to all the controls and everything. Like, it's just really hard, even with control groups, things like that. So, you know, picking 1 unit and just kind of sticking with it is I think a very good, smart thing. You just don't have the economy right now to really keep up production. Ghost of 6 a.m. is in no rush. Yeah, I don't see this castle going up. And this is your forward castle, so it's aggressive. I like it. If you're gonna build a forward castle, you need to have the military to support it, right? Castle position isn't bad. Are these your outposts? No, these are his outposts. So he's gonna see you coming. The position isn't bad. You're near 1 gold here. You're basically, you know, not quite. If you get an upgrade or 2, yeah, you're getting fletching right now. You'll range that gold. This gold's pretty close, so you could range that. You don't know what he has right now, but you only saw that he had camels, and your pikes, 6 pikes. I don't know if that's going to be enough. I'm not too secure that this castle should go up, but I guess he doesn't want to lose any camels. Or maybe he does. He's got 11 camels. Why didn't he just run through here? Is there not a hole here? All right, so he reacted pretty slowly, so I think you're probably going to get this up. Frank's castles, I mean, playing as the Franks, you know, building castles is good. Let's see who wins this fight. I think you're going to kill everything. Oh, he's running away. So he came out with 3 pikes there. I like the boldness of this play. You know, I think that put it this way, it should not work without having more military to defend that, but it did, and maybe you knew, maybe not, but like you're behind, right? When you're behind, you have to kind of do like bold plays like that. So I like it. And Frank castles are cheaper, and I really like that you're not like forcing to just continually go knights. Like, you're building knights, but you also switched into the pikes there. I mean, the big thing that's holding you back, I can tell, is just the economy. You know, focus on the economy a little bit more. Get a build order to get into Castle Age, and you'll be fine. I'm gonna speed this up a little bit. And red is all over Ghost of 6 a.m. That's rough. Ghost of 6 a.m. is all over red, though. So, they have a castle here. They're not going to get this castle up. Come on. I guess they will. No, you're not going for another forward castle. Oh, my goodness. I want to slow this down, at least for the castle build here. So, you want cav archers here. I mean, cav archers are good against the pikes. Alright, so Ghost 6 a.m. quit. I assume you're going to quit in a second here. So basically here's there we go. That's the game. So basically here's my takeaways here, okay? Early economy, you got to figure it out. All right? Your early economy is not quite there. Too much idle TC. You know, like there's going up to feudal age, there should be 0 idle TC, just 0, not a second. All right, you know, definitely less than 25 seconds, and definitely less than a minute or whatever. That's just something you have to work on. You have to just think about your build order. needs to change. All right, way too many on wood. Put 3. If you're going to fast castle, 3 or 4 on wood is all you need, because you can put more. Like on the way up to feudal, you can put more on wood, right? You still want to get to feudal, all right? The simplest build order, I'll just tell you right now, simplest build order is going to be 6 on food, okay? Let's go 3 on wood, and then everything else after that is going to be on food. So it's going to be berries, chickens, boars, hunt, whatever it is, okay? The last 2 villagers you make go on gold, all right? That should be up until you can go anywhere between 23 and 26 villagers, all right? I would say closer, like 23 I think is a good spot for an open map like this. If you're doing like arena or something, you could do 26, 27, 28, whatever. 28 is too much, but maybe like 20 up to 26. Then on the way up to feudal, you want to take a handful off. I don't remember what I do. Maybe like 5 or so. But you can look up build orders for this. And put them on. No, probably less than that. You probably want to have like 5 total on wood. Just enough to build a blacksmith and a market. And maybe a house or some farms or something. Okay? Like there should be enough food on the map that you don't need to build farms or build an excessive amount of farms. Maybe 1 or 2, maybe, depending on your civ. But you're going to need the chickens. You're going to need the hunt on an open map, for sure, 100% for sure. You can also long carry chickens. Like, it's not the end of the world. It doesn't take that long, but something to think about, right? Because if you look at what's food on this map, the chickens are 260. That's it. It's got to be more than that. And I can't select all these chickens for some reason. So it's like 400 food. The boar is 340 food. Like, there's enough food on the map where you don't have to like build a lot of farms. But you want to get that fast castle timing right, and then keep building villagers, right? Queue up villagers like on the way up to castle to have 2 villagers queued up. You want to build 2 more like in feudal age. You build 2 villagers in feudal age, and then when you get to castle age, keep building villagers. Get your stables up. You can put a lot more on wood at that point. Maybe put like 11 on wood, do a second lumber camp, 5 and 5, 6 and 6, something like that. And you get at least 2 stables out there. And then you just bang out knights and do an early attack, right? After the early attack, then go back, kind of work on your economy, or keep the pressure on. Sometimes you did enough damage, you're like, okay, I'm just going to put the pressure on. As Frank's getting into castles, and Castle Age is really good because they're cheaper. So that's something to think about. But overall, good game. I'm not sure if I'm going to release this video as 1 video or as like several. I'm going to see if we have any other games. But hang in there. I'm gonna try to get a few videos for you, all right? You're playing awesome now. Keep it up.